What's up, guys? So I was thinking about making another one of those should you play ESO in 2022 videos to wrap up the year here, but I actually thought it might be a little bit more interesting and more fun to cover some of the things that I'd love to see added to the game next year, because obviously you should play ESO in 2022. It's a great game. It's got great stories, it's got great character customization, it's got arguably the most robust housing system of any MMO currently on the market, but there are a lot of things that I'd love to see added to the game. I'm Cal, and normally I'm sharing updates for my Minecraft builds, resource pack, or ESO house designs. But today, I'm going to be sharing the top 5 updates I'd love to see for the Elder Scrolls Online next year. Now, I don't necessarily expect to see these features added to the game next year, but after new classes or new skill lines, these are the secondary systems that I feel could really use some love. Alright, first up, new small homes and apartments. As a housing enthusiast, I'm excited about pretty much any new home that gets added to the game. But for the past couple years, it's been somewhat formulaic. One new in-room per year, one new large home per year, and then 2 or 3 new Crown Store exclusive notable homes. I love those in-rooms. They're probably the most fun to decorate out of anything. The challenge of only having 30 furnishings to work with is a lot of fun, along with the space limitations. But I've found that the small homes and apartments actually provide just enough flexibility and enough space to do some really interesting things without being so big that they take forever and millions of gold to actually decorate. So given that those are my favorites, I really wish I could have a smaller home like that in Fargrave. It's such a cool town, but the massive notable home that has been added there just doesn't really appeal to me. I'm considering buying it and then just sort of decorating the entryway, but it's not really in the best location, and looking around the town at some of the homes that you can actually lockpick your way into and then loot, those are exactly what I want. I want that little apartment that's tucked away in town that's got maybe 100, 200 furnishing slots. Why can't we get some more apartments and small homes like that? Even if they end up being Crown Store exclusives, I appreciate the challenge that comes with decorating a smaller home, and it would give new players a way to own a home in some of these cities without having to spend $50 or more on the crowns to buy them. Alright, number 2, collectible in-game mounts. This is one of the most common questions on the subreddit, forums, and even in-game from new players that I come across. How do I get mounts? Unfortunately, the answer is the Crown Store. I am, of course, aware of the 3 standard horses, the 2 trial mounts, the Antiquities mount, and the event mounts that are available in-game. But for most new and even mid-game players, none of those are readily available, other than, of course, the standard horses. I think it would actually be a huge win for ESO if every zone had a thematically appropriate mount that you could unlock. I'm imagining a scenario where you need to 100% the zone, complete the zone's story, get the Pathfinder achievement maybe, and then you can buy that zone's mount from a stable master in the zone. These don't necessarily need to be fancy by any means, just your stock horse, squaw, bear, camel, maybe with a bit of flair or a pattern that's specific to the zone. I'm totally fine with these being recolors of existing mounts, or even go one further and have multiple zone mounts available where the most basic version is unlocked quickly, while there's a slightly fancier version that's unlocked for the 100% zone completion. It would just be a cool way to further incentivize playing through the story for every zone in the game, and it would give newer players a relatively easy way to unlock a couple of more interesting mounts without having to pay crowns. I personally don't think this really disincentivizes the cash shop, as most of us are probably still going to want something flashier anyway. I know I do. Number 3, Guild Revamp. This is something that I actually spend a lot of time thinking about. I love that you can join multiple guilds in ESO, but I feel like guilds don't have a lot of options or even really a reason to exist beyond the guild traders. And grouping up for content, of course. There's no guild leveling mechanic. There's no guild houses or guild halls. Most people don't bother with guild tabards since they don't look all that great in my opinion. And it seems that guilds in general are kind of an afterthought. It does feel odd to me because guilds are generally pretty important in Elder Scrolls. And it's the only way to access the guild trader system, so it's not really an optional feature of the Elder Scrolls Online. ESO also already has an excellent housing system, so it feels odd to me that there isn't something more for guilds to do here. Even just adding the ability for the guild master to set one house as the guild hall that would unlock access to the guild bank that could then be placed inside that guild hall, that house that's been, tagged as the guild hall, would be greatly appreciated. But I think they should actually go much further here. I'd love to see something more official, a new type of home or hall or establishment that is specifically a guild hall. It could still be decorated using all the existing furnishings, but there could be new guild hall specific furnishings, like the guild banker, guild trophies, guild rewards. Maybe there's some benefit or unique customization options based on where it's located. I'm pretty sure Guild Wars 2 did some really cool stuff here, and that's exactly the sort of thing that I'd like to see here in ESO. I want to join a new guild and then immediately have a new place to explore and new content to engage in, even if that content is actually just the same content, but it's contributing XP to the guild leveling. Number 4, time for Battlegrounds Revamp. Some of you might be a little confused because I'm just a housing enthusiast, but you'd be wrong. I'm a housing enthusiast first and a trash tier Battlegrounds PvPer second. In fact, one of my first YouTube videos was actually a clips reel from some low-level Battlegrounds PvP on my Warden character while I was leveling him up. But luckily, I deleted it before my channel attracted too much attention, so I've saved myself that embarrassment. But that brings me to the point. Battlegrounds in ESO can be extremely fun. Instance PvP is actually really good in this game, in my opinion. Second only maybe to Warhammer Online and Star Wars The Old Republic. But the Battleground system here doesn't get nearly enough development attention. For example, why haven't we seen a new Battleground since the original implementation? Or at least I don't think we have. Why aren't there seasons or public ladders or tournaments? If nothing else, we could really use a new Battleground arena or two, a revamp or improvement to the rating system, as well as better scoring and point systems, and maybe even some more new rewards. I actually really enjoy the objective matches, but kills and healing should always count for something, your individual score and rewards, if not the match points. I think there's a way to solve the objective Battleground problem without having to segregate deathmatch into its own thing and leave the objective players out to dry. I think you just need to sort of refocus those objectives around fighting other players and make it so that you can't win those matches without engaging in combat at some point. I'd also really like to see them figure out a way to give everyone more flexibility in how they group and play. I know there are some concerns around having large enough pools for matchmaking, but I suspect that would be a smaller issue if the Battlegrounds were more popular. And all that they need to make them more popular is new stuff, more rewards in general, and more players would probably queue up. I don't mean to totally ignore world PvP in the form of Cyrodiil here, or the Imperial City, but I don't think there's an easy solution to the problems there, while there are things that they could do about the Battlegrounds without having to rebuild half the game to fix the lag issue. Alright, finally, back to housing. I think it's time for some new housing options. In addition to more small homes and apartments, which I think is super important, I'd really love to see the housing system get some new features in general. I'd love to be able to stain or dye furnishings or paint the walls of my home. You can accomplish some of this, of course, by stacking up furnishings in just the right way to act as a sort of wallpaper, but I think they should allow for some customization options. This is possible currently in Final Fantasy XIV, where in the housing system you can literally paint the walls and apply wallpaper, window frames, exterior doors, and more without having to use up furnishing slots. It's also a lot cleaner looking. Beyond the ability to apply paints, dyes, I'd also really love to have the option to scale furnishings up or down. Even if it's not a full scale slider and there's just a couple of presets like, one click down, one click up, there are a number of furnishings where the scale feels off to me. Or I'd just really love to use that particular furnishing in a way that maybe it wasn't intended for, but it just doesn't work at that size. So then I'm searching for a new tree or a new rock or a new wall or whatever it is that happens to fit. And I think housing could use even more functionality. Obviously, it's a quick port back to town. You can put all your crafting stations there. You can put merchants and vendors. Like, there is a reason to use housing, but there could be more reason to use housing. I think one of the most often requested things is probably the one that makes the most sense to me, which is being able to place your alts and access their inventories. But beyond that, I'm imagining garden plots where you could grow alchemy plants, or fishing spots, mines, lumber yards, the ability to plant trees to chop down later, where you could gather some resources from within your house. I'd also actually love to see the leaderboard functionality similar to what's currently in place in the Old Republic and New World. Of course, I would love to see one that does a better job incentivizing creativity and creating an interesting home to share with others as opposed to just packing it with furnishings. But whatever it is, I think housing in 2022 could really use more than just a new set of furnishing. So there it is, my top 5 wish list for The Elder Scrolls Online in 2022. Of course, I would love to see a new class and new skill lines, but I actually think the game might benefit even more from focusing on some of these secondary systems. Housing, collectibles, guilds, and even Battlegrounds are all great systems, but they have the potential to become massive selling points for ESO in 2022. And ultimately, these sorts of systems are the ones that keep you around, keep you playing long after you've finished the main storyline. I do hope you have all enjoyed this little departure from my standard content as we wrap up 2021 and head into the new year. Thank you so much for watching today. If you're looking for more ESO content after this one, I will have a couple of my most popular videos linked at the end of this one. And if you enjoyed today's video, I do hope that you will subscribe for the next one. Thank you all for a great year, and I will see you again real soon. Bye for now, guys.